Hey fish friends, Zenzo with Tazawa Tanks, back with another video. As you can tell by the title of this video, I'm going to be talking about sterilization. So I've had a lot of questions from various subscribers and viewers over the last several months talking about or asking about sterilization because I have an aquarium service business. So when I am going and servicing aquariums for customers and then coming back home, sometimes I might have one piece of equipment that I might utilize in my home aquarium. So typically I try to keep those separate. So I have like a different set of nets and different gravel vacs. I even have a different bucket that I use and different dechlorinators and everything. But there are a couple items that I will use in my own fish room as well as for customers. Specifically, that's going to be my submersible pumps that I use to drain water out of tanks. So I have 3 of them attached to long vinyl tubes, and I will put those in various tanks to pump water out of a tank, or I'll put them in my large garbage can that I take that's fish only to pump water out of the can, or vice versa, or pumping fresh water back into the tanks. So even though I'm the one that's servicing those aquariums, I'm the one that's monitoring their health, and I'm able to see how they are, and I know their history, I don't have 100% control, and I didn't medicate those fish like I have done for mine. So there is a chance of having something transferred from a service tank back to my tank. So in order to eliminate the possibility of that happening, or to really reduce the possibility of that happening, I sterilize my equipment. In addition to worrying about transferring something from a customer's tank to my tank, I also don't want to transfer something from one customer's tank to another customer's tank. So I will also sterilize my equipment between jobs, and that's one of the reasons why I have so many pumps, is that I can use one pump, for example, in a tank, and if I'm going to do another service job, I still have 2 other pumps that I can use that haven't been contaminated with any other tank water. And then when I come home, I'll sterilize everything. So what I use is I use bleach. This is just a generic regular bleach. I don't buy like the gel bleach or anything that has those additives, none of the scented bleach, just some good old-fashioned sodium hypochlorite, which is bleach, and I sterilize my equipment. So I used a pretty strong concentration just because I get a little freaked out of introducing something that could wipe out a bunch of my fish. So typically what I'll do is I'll do like a 50-50 concentration of bleach and really hot water. So I do have a sink that's right next to the hot water heater, which is the hottest water that I have in the house, and it gets pretty hot. It's up there. So what I'll do is I will mix hot water and a significant amount of bleach, about a 50-50 mix, and I'll run my equipment. Basically what I'll do is I will submerge the pumps, run that hot water in a cycle through the pump back into the bucket, and do that for quite a while. And then I will then run fresh water through the system, and then I will dechlorinate that system as well, so that I am ensuring that there isn't any chlorine remaining in the tubing of my pumps. I also do that for nets. So if I do happen to use a net at a customer's location, or even like an algae scrubber, I will just dip it in that solution. Now, one of the problems that I have found is that bleach will eventually degrade material. So if I do a lot of dipping of the nets, they'll start to fray and get weak and kind of tear at the corners. But nets are really inexpensive, and I feel that it's something that even if it happens to where a net only lasts 8 or 10 months, it's worth it because I only paid $4 or $5 for the net, and I'd just rather just toss it and get a new net than worrying about contaminating and bringing something harmful into another customer's tank or back to my tank. Now, before I was using bleach, I used to use a high concentration of vinegar. So I would just use white distilled vinegar and water, and that does a pretty good job of kind of mild sterilization, and that was really just for my own tanks, from one tank to another tank. And I was using it for a brief amount of time between customer tanks and just decided I'm just going to use bleach. I'm much more comfortable with it. I will dechlorinate everything when I'm done. That way I'm just assured that I'm not going to be transferring harmful items or, different organisms from one tank to another. Now I know that's not 100% foolproof. I have heard stories about, there are some strains of parasites or bacteria that can withstand bleach, but for the most part, it's going to handle 99.9% of those things that are out there. So, so far it's been working for me. I really don't know of any other way that's more foolproof than doing a strong bleach concentration, other than like super high heat, which would then basically damage your equipment. I can't put boiling water in a pot and then put my pump in there because it's plastic and there's components in there that are going to get damaged by the heat if it's that hot. Sunlight works really well, so if you do have a bunch of nets and you have sunlight, then you can put them out and let them be bleached by the sun essentially over a period of days or weeks. That will work as well, but for me that doesn't work because it's I don't have that much time in between needing to use my equipment, and that's not going to work for my submersible pumps and for my vinyl tubing. So what I'll do now is I'll show you a quick little clip of me sterilizing some of my equipment, so you can see that the pumps are submerged in a bucket that's full of bleach water, and it's hot bleach water. And then you can see that I'm running a cycle, and once that's done, then I clear everything out, dechlorinate it, and I'm good to go. So that was it, just a quick little video talking about sterilization because I have had a lot of questions regarding that. So I thought I'd talk about it. Typically you don't see a lot of bleach used in the aquarium hobby because we're trying to do the opposite, where we are using dechlorinators and removing chlorine from our water. But this is really, because I do touch so many tanks, and not just tanks from my own systems, but other people's systems where I have less control. So that's why I'm using such a strong chemical such as bleach. In addition to sterilization, I actually also use bleach for something that a lot of you might use, and that is Seachem Purigen. So Seachem Purigen is a resin that it's in a pouch, and you can use it in various filters, and it kind of removes particles from your water. And you can recharge them by soaking them in a bleach solution and then rinsing them out and dechlorinating them. So I have a lot of Purigen pouches. I haven't bought a lot of them. I just bought a few, but I accumulate a lot of them because I have customers that use them and they don't want to go through the regeneration process. So they'll just order new Purigen pouches because they're inexpensive. And so I just take them because they're just going to throw them away. They're like, yeah, take it. And then I end up just getting a big bucket or a bowl and just doing a whole bunch of them at once. So that way I always have Purigen pouches ready to go, and I can plop them in a hang on a back filter or throw them in a sump overflow or something like that, just so it's really easy. Then once I get a few dirty ones, I'll just do a whole batch. So that was it. Just a quick little talk about sterilization and bleach. Hope you found it useful. As always, thanks for watching. If you haven't done so, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. We'll catch you on the next one.